Hello everyone, my name is Lowko, and welcome to a best of 7 series of top level StarCraft 2. What I've got for you today is another Team League match. It's time for a best of 7 between Liquid and Basilisk. Where first off, in the upper right hand corner of the, let me see if I fixed my audio soundboard, okay? The Celestial Enclave. I think I did it. Spotting right here in the upper right, representing Basilisk, we have none other than Serral, the current world champion of StarCraft 2. Down in the bottom left, playing for Liquid, we have Skillus. Alrighty, so real quick, in case you're unfamiliar about this particular format, it's something that Wardy has been hosting for some time, and it's honestly some of my personal favorite content. So rather than a best of 7 between both of these players, we have a best of 7 between the teams. So it means that for each of the maps, for each of the games that we're gonna see today, different players can come out. Each of the two teams will have 4 players on it. So for Liquid, we have Clem, Cure, Mana, and Skillus. And then for Basilisk, we have Serral, Raynor, Trigger, and Goblin. Now, technically speaking, Goblin is not part of Team Basilisk. But because of the Team League, he was apparently allowed to join by Wardy, because otherwise, well, there wouldn't be enough players on Basilisk. And I guess you really do want the absolute top dogs in the game to be part of your tournament. So because of that, Goblin has decided to join and yeah, stand in for them instead. Now what's really fun about all of this is that we don't just have 1v1, but there's also 2v2 games included. So we're gonna have a look at yeah, as many games as we can, and we're starting off with this particular Zerg versus Protoss. Let's see, what exactly can we go ahead and pull off? It's going to be a pretty standard low ground here for the time being, although Skillus is also going to the same school as Hero goes to. He's been taking some evening classes, judging by this very first pylon. I feel like Protoss players have been regressing lately as far as their wall-offs go. It makes absolutely zero sense in my mind. We are now, I guess, going to be able to wall us in with another pylon, or at least another structure, but it's just so ugly and kind of cursed. It's fine, it's not the end of the world. As long as you don't all army hotkey the units away eventually, it'll mostly be okay until the Zerglings eventually get in. Sorry, sound isn't working. Go, go. Go, go. Alright. Serral's new to this game, guys. Hitting Control S on the keyboard or Control M. It's just, yeah, it's one of those things that you gotta sometimes fix and figure out by yourselves in the middle of the game. Alright, it's going to be a Stargate build here for Skillus. No surprise at all. Obviously, the Celestial Enclave does have this really nice pocket expansion, and Serral was already scouting there to see if there were any proxy, well, gateways or any sort of aggression going up there, just using that early game drone. And right from the get-go, I feel like that drone scout is indicative of the style that Serral was likely going to be leaning into. Serral is an absolute beast in every stage of the game, but usually he really shines when it comes to out-macroing players in the long run. So he'll probably be happy to, yeah, spot the weakness and potentially abuse that to his advantage. But I think for the most part, he will probably be a punching bag. Try and defend whatever the Protoss is going to throw at you, which in this particular instance apparently is going to start off with a Void Ray. Otto is going to try and scout. He just scouted his own death. It's a little bit sad here, but Otto is going to desperately try to fly away and somehow, some way survive. Sadly for him, Skillus is an absolute animal. Already building up a third Nexus, but I think he's going to be going after. Yeah, Otto, I'm sorry, buddy. I'm sorry, man. At least he makes it quick. A shot in the back with a thick beam. Not what she said. And it's going to be an Oracle right now on the back of it as well. Yeah, so he did actually finish the wall here with a second pylon. It's kind of ugly. It's, yeah, I don't really love it, but it is what it is. All right, really quick third Nexus though, and that of course is really sweet. It's one of the advantages of this particular pylon placement. So the reason that we see this right here from Skillus is so that he can get the third Nexus going and still have a semblance of a wall off before making a second gateway. So it means that you can take the third Nexus ever so slightly quicker. It looks kind of cursed, it's a little bit ugly, but it will be efficient. Now that is what she said. All right, Twilight Council, Forge, Robo Facility. We're getting everything else that we need on the back of this right now. In the meantime, on the other side of the map, Serral's happily droning. He may have lost Otto, but I think the mineral line will be mostly safe. Oracle will be going in, of course. Serral pulls 2 drones at a gas temporarily, but should be okay against this stasis ward as well. One of the drones is going to sack itself. A little bit of lost mining time, but clean defense thus far. The Void Ray is still going to town. Serral really wants to see what's happening, but he already noticed that there is indeed another base building right over there, and it's gonna create a little bit of freedom to macro up. But really, we have an insane amount of gateways happening right here, right now. It's going to be, well, an 8-gate Stalker push. 8-gate Blink Stalkers with +1. Serral, in the meantime, he did go for a Roach Warren, but he's going Spire on the back of this too, together with a 4th. If Serral makes a very large group of Mutas here, and he's playing into an 8-gate Stalker push, he's just in a world of trouble. Not what he needs at all. Lucky for him, before committing to the Spire, he will get some scouting intel, and he will notice here, for example, that the gas over in that pocket base is not taken. And soon, he's gonna see a gateway explosion. Yeah, that's a lot of gateways. That is a lot of gateways. Otto's Murderer will be here, and he's gonna be able to get another kill. But does this mean we snipe the Spire? Do we cancel it? I'm not entirely sure. Serral is gonna just make as many units here as possible. Hits a bit of a supply block. Small little bit of panicking here as he fires up 7 Overlords all at the same time. A lot of Zerglings, +1 missile also begins. Okay. It all comes down to the Stalker control. Skillus will have a ridiculous amount of units. Oh, he's gonna go and pocket expand here. He's gonna try and... Yeah, if the opponent isn't careful, he can just go across. Sexy little bit of shift queuing right over there on the blink ability. And there we go. The big warpins. Wait, we have 8 gates. Where's the other 2? Where's the last one? Oh. Serral with the disrespect against that one stasis ward. It does feel a little bit slow, right? But this is an army that has a lot of micro potential. Serral did keep the Spire up, so if he can transition away from this, he can do so with a big influx of Mutas. And this positioning here is really good. That Overseer Scout turns out to be absolutely pivotal. Now, we have seen all of these stasis wards going down. And the stasis wards are annoying. They're preventing Serral from breaking open this base. But he's happy just buying time here. Corrosive buying the ramp like this will work out in his favor in the long run, unless he trades really inefficiently. Mostly because he's got more income. So for every minute that goes by right now, he's got about 9 more workers than the opponent. So yeah, he's just trying to buy some time here, raining the biles. And while eventually these Stalkers need to be cleaned out, for now apparently we're just really trying to get some work done. Skillus decides to retreat. Pretty crisp execution here by the Protoss player, but it is not quite as perfect as you would really want it to be. Charge is nearly done. +1/+1 will also be soon available here. 2 more gateways. So this is going to be a 10-gate all-in with a Robo Bay and a second Robo facility. Okay. 2 drones end up dying here to the Zealots thus far, but quite a few of the Zealots themselves are gonna pay the price too. In the meantime, the Stalkers have to run away. I don't see the Oracle here, so no Oracles nearby. It means that the +1 missile right now is going to be really nice for the Zerg player. A little bit of corrosive biling. For now, the Prism will survive together with that Oracle. My main concern, I suppose, is that this is just going to be Serral outgrowing the Protoss here over the next few minutes. He's adding in 6 Mutas right now too, which I think is a really nice idea. If you can get the Mutas across the map, or maybe use them to hunt down the Warp Prism, it's really going to slow down this push quite a lot, or at least increase the amount of pressure that Skillus is going to feel. Serral adds on some drones again right now too. Yeah, I think sneaking the Mutas across the map is better. He already saw that the gateway push was very committed, so the odds of there being a photon cannon or something like that inside of the actual mineral line here are very, very small. Skillus hasn't seen the Spire, and sadly for him, he just barely misses the Mutas too. He will spot 1 right now, but even just forcing a warp in here in the mineral line will be big. Yep, so the Mutas are going to go to town. Zealots here, they have to go back home. Plenty of defenses available. Recall is going to be used, and Serral flaps the little wings back into the safe space over here. Textbook. Absolute textbook here so far by the world champion. Making all the right calls. Making all the right decisions. Scouting perfectly. And now it is his turn to be the aggressor. He's about 50 supply up on the opponent, which is huge. There is a 4th Nexus now building up. Otto's Murderer is going back and forth over here, patrolling around, but I've got a feeling that Serral's got his eyes set on the mineral lines here, potentially even the natural. And we do have a Colossus trying to merge together with a single Immortal. That's cute and all. Stasis Ward. Pew. Immediately denied. Yeah, I think denying this 4th base is the key. The problem here that Skillus is going to run into over the next few minutes is that he will run out of cash. So you do this extended 3-base all-in effectively. And 10 minutes in, the mineral fields are going to dry up. The natural expansion will also soon be emptying. So this base is absolutely crucial right now for Skillus, who seems to be having a problem going above 150 supply. Prism is not going to be able to survive right now either, as the 2 Zealots can maybe dropped off, but yeah, alright. Nice, I suppose, but they won't really be able to achieve too much more. Hive in the meantime coming up, +2 melee as well, together with a 5th base. I'm a little bit surprised we actually don't even bother getting the gases in the upper left. I guess he really wants to get that rich extractor going here, which is always kind of sweet. Takes 3 less workers. This is still a reasonably low eco game. Serral's going, oh, Ultras here. He's going Ultras. No armor upgrades for them, though. And Adrenal Glands. I actually thought we were going to build some Vipers. Vipers against Colossi makes a lot of sense in my mind, but apparently Ultras maybe even better. There's just a gigantic amount of Zerg available right now, though. We do have some energy on the sentries, but they decide to just be used for Guardian Shields instead. Banelings are expensive, though, but Serral's crashing into all of it. The Colossi will live for now. Keep in mind, though, that Colossi are not great against Roaches. Serral does throw away a few more units that he absolutely needed to. Remaxes with nearly 100 links. I think he kind of jumped the gun on that one. But I guess he still got enough damage done. Because I don't believe that Skillus is really going to be... Ooh, careful. I don't think Skillus is going to be too confident going across the map with this army. And then again, he kind of needs to get something done. Serral remaxes with 46 Banelings. Roll, roll, roll your Banes gently down their face. Yeah, this is the Zerg equivalent of him screaming to get out of the game. It's so cost ineffective, though. I don't even know if this is the right call, man. We have a little bit of Colossus juggling here. Nicely done by Skillus. The Void Ray here does end up dying. He dodges the Corrosive Balls, too. The resources lost. Yeah, that's where the Banelings, generally speaking, don't really shine. The resources lost will get in favor of Protoss more and more. Serral's playing a little bit too YOLO, actually. Like, he could throw this. I feel like this is a very throwable game for Zerg. Because now we do have a 4th Nexus up and running. The base over here is being denied. Serral's chasing it down. Look at him. Wow. Nah, I think he's got it. With all of the Colossi falling, I think he does have it in the bag. But it does feel more YOLO than we are used to from the finisher. Nice little bit of duking right over there, or juking with those Banes. GG ultimately, though, has to be called, as Skillus leaves the game, and Basilisk gets a point on the board. Alrighty, next up, we find ourselves on Reclamation. It's time for some high-level 2 versus 2. We're in the upper left for Basilisk. We have the team in red. First off, Serral, and then his ally. We have Trigger. Down the bottom left, we have Cure, one of the world's greatest Terrans, and once more making a return. This time around, though, with the classic Nexus skin. I don't believe he ran that in the previous game. We, of course, have Skillus. Okay. This map is absolutely massive. Just in general, this map is so freaking big. You do have a lot of expansions on it, and there's a ton of tight choke points. So the first 3 maps, or the first 3 bases, are reasonably easy to take. After that point, you do have to go for some of these more wide open locations on the map, but obviously if you have 6 mineable bases between the 2 of you, you can usually create a pretty nice army as it is. It will be Terran Protoss, though, going up against Zerg Protoss. So an interesting combination. 2 probes will pass each other in the middle of the map. Funnily enough, Trigger is the one, I think, with the classic probe skin. Actually, no, is that the classic probe skin? No, it's not. No, it's not. It always does feel a little bit wrong, though, to go for, like, the normal StarCraft 2 probe and then the classic Nexus skin. It does look kind of cool, actually. It does look a lot like a pyramid. And considering Protoss definitely are aliens, at least in the Caprulu sector, I think we can all safely confirm now that indeed pyramids were built by aliens. Maybe. Alright, anyways. Barracks is going to be pumping out a single Reaper. Kier would like to get some scouting information done, but really he's just using this as a way to just build up the command center on the low ground. This is honestly, in my mind, a pretty tight matchup, though. In 2v2, the aggressive styles tend to work a bit better. Serral, obviously a very macro-oriented player. I'm wondering if this is more in favor of Kier and Skillus because of it. Obviously, Serral's capable of playing the aggressive builds as well, but I really always feel like in 2v2 and team games in general, the team that's working together with like a dedicated attack usually comes out ahead. It's just so hard to communicate the defensive ways of playing StarCraft. Like, you can be really good at playing macro, but obviously that doesn't teach you how to communicate with your ally, right? Like, it's an entirely different skill set. And usually in RTS games in general, it's just easier to be the aggressor. Then again, though, we have now seen high-level 2v2 for a little bit over a year now. Not just from the Team League that, in this instance, Wardy is hosting, but also Thermal's 2v2 tournaments. They've been certainly stepping up the average level, and we have been seeing more and more macro games because of it, as the players just settle into a bit more of a, comfortable team game scenario. Communication also really does help. Like, that's something I absolutely suck at when I play team games. Like, I feel like when I play team games, I either suck at the game or I suck at communication. You'd imagine I can do both, but nah. No. Apparently my brain is unable to do both of those things at the same time. A little bit of damage done here across the map, but nothing all too crazy. Blink coming up right now for Trigger. Interestingly enough, it's going to be Blink. Yeah. This is quite interesting, actually. Neither player here, neither of the two Protosses. What in the world is this wall, by the way? I guess it's okay. It's kind of ugly, but it works. Neither of these two players is going Phoenixes. I feel like in all the 2v2 games that I've seen over the last year, Phoenixes really have been the absolute stars of the game. We are going to get an hallucinated version of it, but Phoenixes are just so freaking good in team games. They're not that great in 1v1, but 2v2 seems to be where they shine. When they have some supportive troops on the ground, they really are powerful, but neither of them is going for it. Yep, we're going to have Blink on both sides of the map instead. +1 armor here for Serral, not yet using the second Evo chamber. Serral, though, doing Serral things yet again. Building up a larger worker count than the opponents and still pumping out some of those additional workers. Now with the +1 melee also started, though, we are going to be going into a lot of Zerglings. Fair enough. Spore Crawlers coming up as well, just to be safe. Mostly here for detection. They did see that the opponents had a Twilight Council, so you never can really quite certainly know whether or not there will be Dark Templar. Not the case, though. Trigger also just going into the good old Blinky boys. Today is the day of cursed wall-offs. Oh no. The Protoss players are rubbing off on the Terrans right now too, man. It's okay. It's not the end of the world. It's just a little bit ugly. Stimpak combat shields. +1 infantry attacks. This is all very conventional from Kier. It's something that he likes to do. May as well not risk it. Extra gateways coming up as well for Skillus. Just trying to be safe in that regard too. Yeah, as we have a pretty nice little macro setup for all 4 players. Like a gentleman's handshake over here. All of them have decided that we're not going to be hitting each other in the face too early on. Okay. Fortune inside of the main base of Trigger now, who's also just going to try and build up the macro some more. They're all scouting each other, right? Like, they're very distrustful of the opponents. It's like, are you sure you're playing macro? I don't know, man. Can we all just play this nice, relaxed game? A cozy game of 2v2. This is like the Stardew Valley of StarCraft 2 right here, okay? Just a nice little relaxing bit of macro. Doing a bit of mining, watering the crops, going around, giving birthday presents. Actually, I never did that in Stardew Valley. Now, this is awkward. A couple of free sentries. Hello. You never look a gift sentry in the mouth. That's what my grandma always says. You do lose or you do end up losing a couple of stalkers there, which is annoying. Serral, though, has a lot of links nearby, and he's now going to use them. Okay, that'll be a dead base. And suddenly, you know what? The gloves are off. No more cozy gaming here for anybody. Skillus and Cure have decided that apparently the only way is to retaliate with a counter all-in here. Wow, they just committed straight up. Is this really the right call, though? It's just so many units. It's a weird combination, though. A couple of siege tanks in the back, those are sweet. Serral, in the meantime, is tearing them apart with a bunch of links, but I wonder if those links should not have been used at home. Serral is trying to make a switch on over towards Banelings, but they're not yet done. It's like they're playing 2v2, but also some mana battles where they can only make, like, one type of unit each. Reinforcements, though, are coming out for Team Red, and now those Zerglings from the other side of the map have indeed made their way back home. After dealing a bunch of damage on the other side of the map, they now want to continue helping out for the base defense, too. Trigger did lose a lot of his army, though. I think his only units available right now are those Stalkers. He has got 4 Stalkers and a Dream. It's not really enough. Only on 2 bases as well. Serral, though, is Serral, eh? Still macroing really hard. There is a backup pylon here for Skillus. Medevac also joins in. Okay, Skillus is still really pushing forward. What's really sweet, though, for Team Red is that the Zerglings are double upgraded. And they're gonna get 2-2 in about I don't know, like a minute or so from now, which is a really large power spike. I just don't know if they can really buy enough time for that sort of thing. Yeah, Serral decides to pull the trigger right now as that new tank sieges up. Skillus just still has so many Stalkers available, but links come in around the back. Stalkers here from Trigger are being warped in as well. Maybe Serral sent them some money? Not entirely sure if that's possible to do in the heat of this battle because there's so much to control. A single Immortal joining in as well is absolutely massive. Now the links will have 2-2 available by the time that they engage next time around. Cure just still rallying as many units as he can across the map. Serral transfers a bunch of drones straight through this particular engagement. The Immortal does not live up to its name, but there's still so much production here for Team Red. Their economy has been mostly unharmed, and I wonder if that is ultimately going to give them just barely the edge that they're looking for. That Zergling run by from Serral, man, it may prove out to be absolutely critical. Because Team Blue is both on 2 bases each. Serral's on 4. Yeah. You can tell that the 2-2 Zerglings have kicked in. It's such a big upgrade, and with that all-in failing, Team Liquid decides to tap out. Okay. And with that 2-0 lead in the best-of-7 series for Team Basilisk, we now find ourselves on Old Republic. In the upper right, we once more have Skillus. Liquid does have more players, right? Where's Clem? Oh, maybe he's not available. I don't know. Down in the bottom left, though. A man we haven't yet seen today. We're looking inside of the main base of Arenor. That is one of the downsides, of course, of running a team league. Normally, StarCraft 2 is a 1v1 game, which is pretty sweet because you don't need that many people, right? Like, hosting a singular match between, well, 2 people is relatively straightforward. But getting a whole host of people all on the same schedule, especially when they live in different parts of the planet. For example, Raynor is over in Korea, if I'm not mistaken. Skillus is in the Netherlands, if I'm not mistaken. So, like, these guys are all over the planet. It's kind of tough to actually organize this well. And sometimes real life does get in the way. It is certainly possible that Clem is not available. I don't know. Clem does play in everything, though, so I wouldn't be surprised if he's going to be here in just a sec. Either way, hatch gas pool here on the Old Republic so far. Who else have we not seen yet? Mana has not been spotted for Liquid either. So we have had Cure and Skillus. For Basilisk, we have not yet seen Goblin. Trigger also has not yet been spotted. Okay. Okay. Yeah, it's one of the great things of StarCraft. But also, I'm sure, as a tournament organizer, I don't want to host tournaments myself, man. It's just not something I'm interested in at all, but my hotkeys are trolling me. Go. All right. Wardy hosts so many events, and he's very comfortable with it, but you do have people from all over the planet, right? So just getting everybody, like, just figuring out time zones is not that easy. Like, when you tell somebody 3 p.m., it doesn't really work. I think Wardy actually, even though he's in England, he mostly operates on Central European summertime schedule, I think. Like, at the moment, at least. At least that's the time zone he always uses whenever we chat. But maybe he does that for me, actually, now that I think about it. I don't know. I'm not exactly sure. I guess there aren't that many British pro gamers out there, though, compared to the guys that will be on the Central European time zone. But yeah, I can imagine it is a little difficult. It's like herding cats, I'm sure, getting everybody on board. I know there was also some drama with some of the teams maybe not quite showing up, or I don't remember exactly what it was, but I have tried hosting tournaments myself in the past, and I realized right from the get-go that is not where my strengths are. It is not what I want to do, man. I'm happy to financially support many of the events out there, and I do, but this is nah. No. It's an absolute headache. Not what I want to do. But hey, that's the beautiful thing again about the StarCraft community. There's many people involved. And much prefer casting. Oh, it's so much harder than it looks. It's so much harder than it looks to just organize a tournament. Just organize a tournament. Right? No, it's so much harder than it looks. Alright, Oracle here into Void Ray. Gonna get the Adepts in as well, and he does commit now. 2 drones is decent, 3 drones is good, and with the Oracle here, indeed getting some work done too. Ooh, don't lose it. Jeez, that was close. Yeah, I feel like we could have had 5. 4 workers right there for 2 Adepts is obviously nice. But losing this much hull HP as well on the Oracle is significant. I don't really like that too much. Obviously, you can't repair it. Actually, in 2v2s, you can. In 2v2, you can have your allied SCVs repair an Oracle. Void Ray here on the back of this again. Skill is apparently a big fan of the Void Ray today. Yeah, this third Nexus, there's not a whole lot Raynor can do about it. But he's running around and just being a little bit obnoxious, making it difficult for the Protoss to really transfer any units. Lair coming up right now for him, so that's 4.5 minutes or so of in-game time on the start of that lair. And he's beginning a bit of a wall-off here. Ooh, straight Fleet Beacon and second Stargate here for Skillus. Alright. Skillus apparently wanted to be aggressive early on, and then we skipped the mid-game. I'm guessing we're gonna go straight into a bunch of Tempest from here. Tempest rushing is always tough. I don't know, man. This Oracle? I don't know, dude. I don't know about that. Yeah, that is why you do want to try and keep some of the HP on that unit, too, because you just leave it so vulnerable. Raynor's been looking good lately. At least in the games I've seen him play. Like, it's sometimes a bit of hit or miss, I guess, but in the games where he's looking sharp, he looks very difficult to beat. Oh, okay, interesting. So, we have 2 carriers fired up right here for Skillus. And in the meantime, Raynor goes for Overlord speed. So I guess because that Oracle died, the odds of the Protoss actually scouting this are very, very low. So we're gonna go for a big push against the carrier opener. I wonder if Tempest would have been the better choice here. I mean, if Skillus can get like 4 carriers out, life is gonna be pretty sweet. But it'll be a while, and Zerg is gonna come knocking here very soon. We have the Queens loaded up in their private jets. There's a lot of Roaches and Zerglings available already. Some of the links, I think, will go into the natural or maybe the main base on their own private journey, just to create a little bit more of a distraction. I think I'll keep my camera mostly on the main fight. Carrier number 1 and 2 are out, very soon at least. Number 3 is coming. We do have +1 air weapons also researching here for Skillus. Man, this is every Diamond League's Protoss player's favorite build. Straight into carriers, baby. Void Ray here, because of the thick beam, does end up dying. I think Skillus is in a world of trouble here, but it comes down to the carriers mostly. Overlords are indeed going to be dropping off the Queens. They can start pooping up a little bit of creep as well, and that means indeed that transfusion energy is available. Loads of static defense, though, coming up. What about the secondary drop? Indeed, a bunch of Zerglings going into the natural can make all the difference. The carriers are doing a really nice job, though. The problem is that the rest of the army here of Protoss is gone, and that means that the mineral line is now wide open. We also have the Lings nibbling away at all of the probes. No response there from Skillus until just now. He also takes a bit of a beating here with those carriers from the corrosive biles. We do have a Spire added into the mix here for Raynor. He wants to... Oh, my lord, Skillus! There's no way! Did we just lose a carrier to biles? Wow. Well, that's 50 probes gone. 50 probes gone. Third Nexus dead. And you know what? The ladies are going home. They may have lost one of their numbers, but that is a sacrifice they're willing to make. Skillus is going to go in for a counterattack. I will say this is a hell of a lot more scary with 4 carriers than it is with 3. This seems kind of silly. 24 probes is all that remains right now. Skillus is going to try and play catch-up. He is making Void Rays right now. He's going full Skytles. Man, this is a very, it's a very Diamond League game. Cleaner macro across the board, but seriously. We lost this very first Oracle. We YOLO'd in the Adepts. Then on 3 bases, we go straight into Mass Stargate and Carriers and all the rest of it. And then we counterattack with an all-in. Alright, let's see. There's so many Queens available, though, and some Spore Crawlers as well. Look at this Void Ray! What was that? I think Skillus may be half asleep. In the meantime, the Roaches are still going to town. There was no cancel on that hatchery in the middle, so honestly, that's the only thing that Skillus has really gotten. He's going to try and counterattack. Will the Corruptors be able to finish off the carrier? Not quite, but I mean, you go home, but you have nothing to go home to, man. You know that meme with like the guy coming back home with pizza or whatever, and the entire house is burning? That's what Skillus just came home to. Sure, he may have brought pizza, but there's very little remaining. This is not fine. All Raynor needs to do right now is make a bunch of Corruptors. More Corruptors is better than less Corruptors. There's no reason for him to engage. Prismatic Alignment is available on those Void Rays, and they deal bonus damage against armored units. Corruptors are armored, so you gotta be a little bit careful here as the Zerg. But I mean, you know that the Protoss eco is gonna be atrocious. So just sit back at home, prevent the Protoss player from escaping, or expanding, I suppose, and just defend whenever they attack. Yep, we have loads of Queen energy available. I think you target fire each individual unit, and then you transfuse with the Queens. GG. Very clean game here from Raynor. Alrighty. And that takes us right now to the map Tourmaline. Match point already for Basilisk. In this particular game, represented by Trigger. For Liquid, no Clem, but we have Cure. And Cure is, of course, an absolute Terran monster. Yeah, I haven't seen Clem yet in this particular match. Hello, has anybody seen Clem? Clement? Clement Desplunge? Desplunge? I don't know how to pronounce the last name. I think I was pretty close, though. Knowing a pro player's last name, I feel like it already goes pretty far. Yeah. Gotta be honest with you. First name? Probably for most. Last name, though? That's difficult. They play with in-game IDs for a reason, right? And especially for the Koreans, I do not know what Cure's real name is. Shall I look it up? Cure Liquipedia. Let's see, what does it say? Kim Do-wook. Oh, that one's very easy, actually. Kim Do-wook. Fair enough. Born in 1994. Jeez. Imagine being born in the 90s. Long time ago. Alright, Trigger going in. With a very quick expo on the low ground. First pylon, though, inside of the main base. Clem is playing for Liquid in this tournament, right? Let me actually just double check this real quick. I assumed at the very least, like, he's part of Liquid. For Team Liquid? Ah! So, okay, on the Liquipedia page for Team Liquid, it says Clem Cure Mana Skillus, as to be expected. But then behind Clem's name, it says DNP. And I was wondering what that means. But apparently it says did not play. But then it also says did not play behind Rainer's name. And we most definitely did just now see him play. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, man. I'm a little confused. Yeah, I don't know. Big shout out as well, by the way, to the people that organize Liquipedia. Liquipedia, LegalX, two very important platforms for the StarCraft community in general. And believe it or not, all of those things have to be manually entered, right? Like, somebody is out there watching literally everything, or a group of people are out there watching literally everything, and entering everything into the database. The unsung heroes of the SC2 community, for sure. Now, we have a Reaper Hellion build here from Cure. It's a bit of a funky one, but it is one of those strategies that can deal a lot of damage. He probably could have pulled back on that single Hellion there, but he will still be able to shut down the Adepts. Gateway right now on the low ground as well, as Trigger is trying to see if he can shorten the wall here for just a moment. You do want to keep that Robo facility pinned back though, because especially later on, we have seen so many games where the Robo facility just barely does not produce that extra Immortal or Colossus or whatever, because it is just a little bit too exposed. Reaper's going in around the back. This is where they can be really powerful. 2 workers, acceptable. 3 good. 4 really good. Yeah, he wants to get a 4th, but we'll have to wait here for a moment. One of the Jetpack Raiders did already die. Medevac drop is going to be heading out across the map in just a moment with some Widow Mines inside of the cargo. There we go. Snatch him up. In the pipe. 5x5. This is looking like a juicy spot right over here, Cure. Right over here, man. The problem with this, though, is that you kind of need to do it in tandem with the Reapers. Trigger is really one of the very best Protoss players right now. He's been impressing me a lot. He's been playing a lot of StarCraft, it seems, over in Korea lately, and that is good for one's MMR. Yeah, very clean defense so far. There we go. Did not stutter. I feel like if you're doing this as the Terran, you really do need to go with the Reapers at the same time to at least create a bit of a distraction. This right now is just him crossing his fingers and hoping to get lucky. Woo! Now, I say that, he almost got lucky. 2 probes there. Trigger salvaging the situation, but just barely. Now imagine if there was an attack command on the minimap right about a second before we saw that Widow Mine drop. Could have actually been the end of that entire mineral line. Alright, Cure is going to move in right now. We'll get an additional probe or 2 for his troubles. Yeah. Alright, well, that'll be the end of all of the pressure from the Terran. 1 Raven is making its way across. It's going to be a bit until it arrives. Right now, though, action is very much so on Trigger. Getting a siege tank here is sweet. SCVs are going to be pulled forward immediately. They want to go in for the mass repair, and they are getting the repair done, but not quite fast enough. Now some of the SCVs themselves are going to pay the price. Trigger did, of course, make a 3rd Nexus already some time ago. Nice little bit of micro here. 4, of course, is good enough to all fit inside of the prism at the same time. And it looks like the Raven has been all army hotkeyed backwards. A little bit bad right there by Cure. Yeah, a little bit bad. So just know whenever you hit the all army hotkey, you could have been a pro gamer too. I mean, the pro gamers do it. So if the pro gamers do it, and you do it, now you're doing pro gamer things. Easy. Stimpack. Combat shields. Where are our NG bays? No NG bays yet. Here, we need to start up an engineering bay, dude. Gonna fall pretty fast here behind in that upgrade count. It's not like Trigger has really been prioritizing it yet, but at least he does have +1 upgrade here +1 ground attacks, that is. Researching. And it's being chronoed as well, so it does finish pretty fast. I guess he's been very busy with his early game aggression. Does come at the delay, though. Delay? Is that a word? It does come at the delay of the NG Bay upgrades. It does delay the NG Bay upgrades. There we go. A Robo Facility here, followed with a Robo Bay. Trigger wants to be going into the Colossi. Now, Combat Shield's not even done. +1 attacks is not even started. This is a funky push by Cure. We do have Zealots with charge and +1 ground weapons, which is a big upgrade. Yeah, perfect timing here for Trigger as he does engage into this. Nice blinky forward as well. The SCV train arrives, but a little bit late to the party. Still though, Terran units are real good. And Cure has built up a strong advantage earlier on in this game. This was probably the best start to a fight like this here for Trigger, who would love to go into Colossi here. He's actually taking a lot of resources in the bank. I don't really love that very much. We do have the Prism trying to be a nuisance, but ultimately... Ooh, Zealots. Zealots charge in. Immortal takes a Widowmine to the face. We have a bunch of the Zealots now coming in through the main base down to the low ground. An absolute bloodbath here on the side of the Protoss player, but... all I can really see is a ridiculous amount of Terran units still alive and no easy way for Protoss to counter them. A pretty messy game across the board. So many dead workers as well. But this game is going to be decided right here, right now. Prism, no! My god, no! Oh, army hotkeying there too. More and more Stalkers, though, got warped in over at that newly made third Nexus. The Medivacs pretty much all have one individual target to heal at this point. Widowmine does get a hit, does get a kill too. Dude, this game has just been flipped upside down. What a ridiculous match. Not the strongest performance from either of these two, and it's one of those games where I'm pretty sure both of them will be quite frustrated. But it's looking to me like Cure just has too many units. Shield battery goes down. One of the big problems here for Trigger is that he lost a lot of his production structures. So it's difficult for him to really even spend his cash. Got a lot of gas still available, though. Unable to really do anything with it. Marines are a bit cheaper in that regard, a little bit quicker to produce as well. No problems with power fields or anything along those lines. The Medivacs still trying to heal up whatever they can. More and more probes are pulled away as well. Worker counts are near identical now, weirdly enough. Nice little bit of pickup control there with that Marauder for just a moment, but ultimately it too shall die. Or pass. Whichever version you prefer. Yeah. The bloodbath, I think, is ultimately going to settle with a Terran advantage. Oh, everything's just been rallied straight across. Stalkers are trying to run away, but the third Nexus is not gonna survive. And I've got a feeling the Stalkers won't either. They do pass upon a couple of reinforcing units. No attack move there from Cure either. Man, I feel like some of the players in this series are starting to fall asleep. I wonder what times these games were played at. Like, that's another thing, right? When you do quite literally have players from all over the globe. Believe it or not, professional gamers tend to be human after all. And humans do... yeah, we do seem to have sleep cycles, you know? Like, we have circadian rhythms and all the rest of it. GG gets cold. Liquid gets a point on the board in a rather messy game of SC2. Okay, next up, we find ourselves on Yellow Jacket. The map is called Yellow Jacket because of this 16 by 16 PNG of a Yellow Jacket that has been stretched up to the size of the map right over here in the middle. I don't know why it looks like this, but it's okay. Hey look, Mr. Mana has decided to join us. Representing Liquid. Cure, victor of the previous game. The reason why Team Liquid has a point on the board. GLHF lads, GG's. Alright. Serral and Cure are too cool, though, to say anything. Imagine saying things to your opponents. What's next? Sympathy? Sympathy is weakness, is what I've been told. Better to not say anything. Goblin, by the way, now also joining here for Basilisk. Again, not technically a Basilisk player, but still a very good Protoss, of course, and one of the reasons why we have Basilisk participating in the Team League. Yeah, no cure, or sorry, no Clem today, it seems. So that's a little bit unlucky. But, I guess he just decided not to play in the Team League for some reason. That's a little weird, I don't know. I don't know. This is one of the things, though, with tournament organizing that I was trying to mention earlier. Herding cats, just not an easy thing to do. Trust me, I have 2 cats. Imagine if you have 20. I know there's people out there that have 20 cats. I don't know how you live. Like, how do you live with that many cats? I have no idea. It's not, I don't think it's possible, man. 2 cats is, what about 3 cats, though? Like, sometimes I think, you know what? 2 cats is really nice, but what about 3? No. 2 is good. 2 is good. But kittens are really cute. Or adult cats are also really cute. I don't know. Next is over here on the low ground for Mana. Mana recently, in all the games I've covered him, in 1v1 specifically, he's been a big fan of the cannon rush. He's been cheesing a bunch of the well-known Zergs lately. At least in the games that I did happen to check out, but not the case this time around, as we have Mana going into the Stargate instead. Twilight Council in the meantime on the other side of the map. Goblin is going to be going into what looks like good old Blinky boys. So maybe we'll see the strength of the Phoenix this time around. Rising from the ashes of Team Liquid's map score so far. It has to be Phoenixes, right? Okay, never mind. I know nothing, okay? The 2v2 meta has moved on. It moved on and it's left me in the dust. Nah, I think it's Oracle into Phoenixes. Cyclone coming up as well for Cure. I wonder if Cyclones are any better in 2v2 as they would be in 1v1. Like in 1v1 they're really nice, especially early on, but I'm not so sure how much they really add to a game a bit later. Overlord Scout right here for Serral. Trying to figure out what he's playing against. What they are playing against. No, we're going Moracles. Really? Okay. Spire in the meantime because of it on the other side of the map. And this is one of the reasons that Phoenixes can be so sweet. Because you just sort of cut off any potential Muta opener effectively blindly. Recall is going to be used right now though as the Oracle is getting a bunch of work done. Zappy, 5 probes just like that. Not bad. Mana still has an Adept as well behind the mineral line. Probes decided to take matters into their own hands. Second Stargate right now here for Mana. Do we add more Oracles in the mix, Mana? Is that the goal? Nah, this has to be Phoenixes now. Or we just keep making Oracles. We just never stop. Nah, it's Phoenixes. Okay. I was right-ish. Yeah, so he's gonna go triple Stargate Phoenix, it looks like. He did hit a supply block, so rather than actually finishing the Phoenix, he added on an extra Stargate instead. Serral's gonna do a little bit of elevator play. This is an Overlord with a job now. He's the elevator man. I've seen them in movies, you know. Guys that are just there to like press buttons on the elevator. These always seem to be movies that take place in New York City. I don't know. I've never been to New York, but this is how I picture it, okay? If I ever go to New York and nobody's pressing buttons when I enter an elevator, I'd be very disappointed. Anyways, that's the job right there of the Overlord, and sadly for him, he did get spotted. Plenty of units available right here for Team Red to shut it down. Serral not really getting anything. But I guess they did get the intel. Yeah, that the flying units are out. Serral does snipe all of the Oracles for the time being. But the problem here is that you cannot really beat Phoenixes with Mutas. If you go mass Oracle, sure, Mutas are a good idea. But Phoenixes are gonna tear them apart, at least in theory. Phoenixes can move and shoot at the same time. Mutas, not quite. Although there are some micro tricks to make it look somewhat similar. So I think we're just trying to see if we can maximize damage. But Serral will likely, make a transition away from it. Well, I say that. He did make a transition away from it, but it's actually into Corruptors. So we end up with Muta Corruptor right now against Phoenixes. Anti-armor missile there. Kind of cute. We have the Stalkers blinking up towards the high ground. Cure is going to have to bring his units in here too. Indeed, that's exactly what he does at this point in time. These Mutas, though, are so flimsy. A couple of the Phoenixes, indeed, do lift up some of the Stalkers. Marines are so powerful here as well. And now suddenly, yeah, the Mutas are toast, man. At least the anti-armor missile will run out, but I think Mana managed that nicely. Corruptors are not yet available. And while the Spire may have a spotlight at its feet, it hasn't really been all too effective just yet. And that's my main concern with it. I've got a feeling it's gonna get worse over time. Now, this is also bad here for Mana. Clearly not anticipating the Corruptors here. Corruptors are much more beefy. Ooh, so many units, though, available here for Cure as well. I feel like Cure has not really been... yeah, I've not really been paying too much attention to what he's doing, but he's just calmly making Marine tank. And there's never been a Terran player out there who's disappointed by the fact that they built Marine tank. Like, it's just such a banger of a unit comp. Stimpak combat shields, +1 infantry attacks. You can hardly complain. Serral trying to get some freebies, but he's got so much supply now caught up into Corruptors that I don't really know exactly how he's gonna help out fighting the Marine tank army. Like, he's effectively letting Goblin do all of that by himself. And I've got to be feeling here that Team Red is gonna be Goblin instead. Okay, Goblin jokes? I don't know. I don't know, man. Either way, the Marines are stimming through. The Phoenixes are killing whatever they can. And now that the Marines are engaging the Corruptors, I've got a feeling... yeah, Basilisk is in trouble. Those Corruptors, man. I don't like it. Mutas into Corruptors, it makes so much sense in your head. But then when the actual game hits, you die to the men with guns. GG. Okay. And that takes us to the Potato Citadel. At this point, I'm so used to saying Potato Citadel that I feel like I more commonly mispronounce the name than... okay. What's a Tato, precious? Spawning right here in the upper left. We have Trigger. Down in the bottom right, we're looking inside of the main base of Mana. You know what? It turns out this Team League format is just an elaborate ploy for me to get you to watch Protoss versus Protoss. Got him. It's a good matchup, I promise. It's fun. Eat your veggies, okay? It's the StarCraft equivalent of eating your broccoli. You know it's healthy. You know it's good for you. You may not like the flavor, though, but I promise it's nice. Match point right here for Basilisk still, but Liquid trying to climb back. It's honestly one of the things, though, that I do really like about the Team League format. Like, I know that the mirror matchups in StarCraft 2, so Zerg versus Zerg, Terran versus Terran, Protoss versus Protoss, are never really that popular, but you just get a ton of variety, right? With a Team League format like this. You're never really gonna get the same matchup very likely back to back, although we did have a Zerg versus Protoss, I guess, twice. Anyways, doesn't really matter all too much. Double gateway start right here for Trigger. Likewise as well here for Mana. Mana leaving a tiny space. Trigger leaving a big space. As long as you can wall off the big space, though, with a pylon or a shield battery, it doesn't really matter all too much. The idea behind it is that you can prevent your opponent's adepts from getting in. So it's very easy for a bunch of adepts to shade in and absolutely destroy your mineral line. And obviously when you're both making the same units, like losing 6-7 probes, just a disaster. Sentry here together with a Stalker. Double Stalker in the meantime on the other side of the map for Trigger. That's indicative of him wanting to be a little bit more aggressive in just a moment. A Nexus will be added on into the mix as well. Obviously, one of the nice things here is that you can go into a quick hallucinated Phoenix Scout. several years ago at this point, they reduced the cost of the hallucinated Phoenix, or hallucinations in general, to 75 energy. And it made all the difference in this matchup specifically. Yeah, you can just get way more scouting out. They also made the sentry more powerful as it now deals bonus damage against shields. Absolutely pointless, of course, in Protoss versus Terran or Protoss versus Zerg. But sentries in PvP actually do pack a bit of a punch. Plus, they're really nice for scouting. Alright, Twilight Council here for Trigger. The first real deviation as Mana is dumping more and more of his resources onto those sentries. Yeah, it's so ironic. In the other matchups, sentries are never scary. Like, you never see a Zerg player running away from a sentry, or a Terran player being like, oh no! My Marines are fighting a sentry, back off, lads! No. Killing a sentry kind of feels like you're winning the game. But in Protoss versus Protoss, these little guys are vicious. Actually, they're pretty big. Like with the StarCraft tabletop being out, I noticed that the sentries are really, really large. And we had a look recently at all of the real scale of the StarCraft units. Sentries are supposed to be significantly larger than they are in the multiplayer version of the game. Like, they're supposed to be, like, probably, like, that big. Like, they're, like, the size of an Immortal or something. But I guess they don't quite make sense like that in an actual 1v1 game. Mana indeed opting to go for a slightly... yeah, later Twilight Council here. Both players, though, just thinking about already playing the macro game yet again, right? Not really trying to go for a big push. Not really committing to too much aggression. Gotta be careful here as Mana. You know that the opponent may very well have Blink out before you. And if you go for a push right now or a move out like this with your Stalkers, you may never go home. Nice force fields right here by Trigger. Oy, 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 oy. That will trigger a recall too, but that's already -3 Stalkers. And that's a big disaster, actually. That's a really, really big problem. I was going to mention that as soon as the blink is done on Trigger's Stalkers, it's going to be impossible for those units in red to go home. But now suddenly, we may just see the counterattack. Yep, Probe is indeed going to go down. Pylon here is going to fall as well. And in the meantime, Trigger's got a third Nexus building up. Trigger's actually so confident right now. There is a hallucinated Immortal, that's nice. Blink is going to be available though, so he does get around. You can't see whether or not it's an hallucination if you have detection out, but Trigger does not. And he's just gonna fish. He's just gonna fish for some freebies. He knows that the Immortal is potentially fake, but he doesn't know for sure. You can't really face check it. Mana right now, rather than playing the macro game, which was the original plan, decides to follow this up with a load of gateways. So he's gonna very likely go across the map and try to deal as much damage as he can. Trigger doesn't have nearly as much production. A little bit of blink micro here as well from both players. Any trade right now for Trigger is quite nice. Aggressive follow-up here, though, from Mana, as Trigger is desperately trying to escape the tickle beam of those sentries. A little messy, but ultimately good enough right here for the Canadian. Let's see. Mana's got indeed a Prism out right now of his own. Now, you can always go for that little play, right? Where you force field your opponent's ramp. It is always something you can think of. Problem here is that Trigger already has Blink done of his own. He's building up an actual Immortal. Immortals absolutely plow through units that have, well, armor, and Stalkers do. So they're a perfect counter here to the army that Mana currently has. And in a straight-up fight, I don't really like Mana's chances that much. Guardian Shield here is real good. He does separate the Immortal, so the Immortal is not going to be able to live up to its name. And that Prism, of course, here from Mana is nice. Force field's going down left, right, and center. He's going to try and indeed elevator his way up into the main base, but that does mean that he's leaving a bunch of those sentries behind. He is not quite going to be able to bring them all over here, but he will be able to, at the very least, prevent the opponent from getting into the base if he steps forward a little bit further. Now, indeed, the pylon does prevent the gateways here from being powered. Another Immortal goes up. We have the probe spooled away as well from the main base. Blink behind the Stalkers. Prism ends up dying, and I think Trigger despite this very messy setup, is still going to stabilize just fine. Good crisis management there. Pylon already finishing, by the way. That's kind of sweet. One of the probes that was pulled as, well, a meat shield here ended up apparently sneaking out a pylon nice and quickly. Now we have a forge together with additional gateways coming up. Immortal production has begun as well on the other side of the map, but mana is still on just 2 bases. And this is the real problem. Sure, the income advantage may have dipped a little bit in the opposite direction for a moment when the boys got pulled from the main base's mineral line, but Trigger is going to outgrow mana so quickly here over the course of the next few minutes. Mana is kind of forced into a corner right now. Like, what do you do? You can try and plant down a nexus of your own. Surprise, there's another base building on the other side. Trigger does not commit here to the all-in. Instead, he's just stretching his legs. He scouts the opponent's 3rd nexus. Perfect time for him to have that 4th nexus up too. Mana's going to be able to get across here. Maybe he can prevent the nexus here from dying. Probius is ready to sacrifice his own body for the greater good, and he will do exactly that. Giving this Protoss army the heads up that there is indeed a nexus in that direction, that there's an army coming towards it. 3rd base here for Mana, just about to finish up, but he didn't really make a lot of probes for it. This is, for all intents and purposes right now, an all-in here for Mana. And it's just such a tough setup. Even with the perfect engagement, I think it will still be very tough. Yeah, we get the Prism to go down right now, and it's all a little messy. It feels a little clumsy. Stalkers bumping into one another as they try to make it past the force fields. But it does not matter. And with this particular victory, Trigger secures the win for Basilisk as they shut down Team Liquid. GG.